everybody. It is Tuesday, September 2nd, and I'm coming to you kind of early this morning. Well, early for me. I usually get up around 7:15, so it's about 7:30, quarter to 8, something like that. But I thought I'd come to you quick from my bedroom and share with you before the day gets too busy what my Very Fun Yarns Advent is looking like. So, first off, I will say that yesterday I did take some video, but I didn't come to you because I was so excited about my Advent crocheting in this case. I finally figured out the Cozy Country scarf, Advent scarf. Later in the day, after I had done a bunch of cleaning, I finally sat down and I started working on it, and it is so addictive. But I will show you that later in the day, just because I have to get going. I have some appointments in town today. I have to go to the chiropractor. I go see a nutritionist, and then I have to run to Costco to get some essentials, and I have to pick up a Target order. So I have to do a few errands, kind of midday my appointments are. So I'm trying to kind of get going, chat with you, and then get a little exercise in before I do school with my almost 14-year-old who now wakes up kind of, I don't know, not late. I mean, he's usually up by 9, but it's kind of nice actually because when I first started homeschooling, I had 3 kids actually at the time because my youngest was a baby. And I remember they used to argue about who got to have my attention first, because a lot of the things we did together, but they also had some things to do by themselves. And of course, when they're younger, 6, 7, 8, a lot more of the things I have to do with them. So they had to wait their turn. So it's kind of a nice change to be able to get up in a relaxing way, and Lincoln gets up when he gets up, and he just comes to get me when he's ready to do his subjects that we do together. So anyway, enough rambling. Let me show you the Very Fun Yarns Advent. So first off, the Advent comes with a project bag. So this is the project bag. It's a medium tote. I'll hold it kind of close to you. And my mom was the maker of these bags. Has a red zipper on top. I think they all have a red zipper. Some of them do have a red bottom because with the whole Joann's closing and whatnot, we had some issues with getting enough of the fabric that I had first gotten. My maths weren't quite right, and she needed a little more. So anyway, some of you will have gotten a red bottom. Some of you will have gotten a green bottom. And I haven't said this in the Advents yet, the Vlogmas yet, that I do still have some in the shop ready to ship through the end of the year. So if you see it as I unwrap it and I start to knit it up and it floats your boat, you can still get the full kit through the end of the year. So the kit has the bag, and it's, it's a pretty good size bag. I would say it holds probably a 3 skein project. I do have my mini skein project in here, which I'm going to show you. And it also comes with a bag of extra goodies. Let me show you what's in there. Apologies, I did not unwrap it before I started. So it has some cute stitch stoppers. And there are a couple different varieties. I think there are like snowmen. There are these hot cocoa, and there's one more. I can't remember what it. I think it's reindeer. So you get one of the 3 stoppers. You get a little chocolate treat, the snowflake peppermint York. Funny story. This candy was my grandma's. All 4 of my grandparents were a part of my life growing up, and this grandma taught me all about berries and gardening and cooking, but she did pass away when I was a senior in high school. But these were her favorite, and for a long time my mom used to put them on her tombstone whenever it was her birthday, which I always thought was very hilarious. But anyway, peppermint York. And there's a little Christmas tea. This one, there's a couple different varieties. This one is a holiday chai. And then also everybody got some washi tape, some holiday washi tape. So those were just a few little extra goodies to make it fun to open up. But let's get to the best part, the yarn. So before I show you the yarn, let me just say that I started out wanting to knit my So Sweet wrap. And I was going to do, which would be perfect for this Advent. But what I was going to do is I was going to put the fuzzy, actually I have some that I ripped out, some Surrey fluff as my in-between colors. So I'll put a picture up of that pattern here. So it has, you know, sections. And what I was going to do originally is I was going to add a third size to it, which maybe I still will. But there is a scarf size, which is, I think it's 12 or 15 inches wide. I can't remember it right now off the top of my head, but it's just a long scarf, and that one you make with 10-gram minis. And then there is a large size that is like a lap blanket size or a large wraps size, and that one you make with 20-gram minis. And I started it, and I mean, it looked perfectly good, and I liked it with the fuzzy yarn in between, but I am in a place right now, know thyself is the rule I'm trying to say, and I don't like knitting fingering weight yarn unless it is a sock or fingerless mittens. I'm not enjoying the the fingering weight yarn. I am really preferring DK weight or thicker yarn. I'm really just in a thicker yarn phase. You know, we all have these phases. I think for a long time I was in a fingering phase, but I'm just not enjoying it as much. So I decided to hold it double. And I came up with a different pattern. So you can kind of see it. You can see it more in the solid, of course. And it's just like it's not complicated. It's sort of like a slip stitchy kind of simple pattern. But, so this is my swatch as I show that to you. As I was looking at it, so originally my thought was to make a blanket, right? I'm in bed right now, so I have my bounce blanket from a pattern from Tin Can Knits that I made with a Yarn Ink DK weight Advent back in, I don't know, 23 maybe, early 24. And it turned out, I mean, it's a pretty good size, but I was really in the mood for either no, I take that back. So I'm sorry that I'm getting myself confused here, but it is because I changed my mind so many times. I started and ripped out this project at least half a dozen times. So I did start the blanket, and I started it like this, and I thought, okay, we'll just do a simple garter stitch edge and we'll knit it. And I actually got almost through my first color. Oh, the other thing I really wanted to do is I was really liking, I do not want to give any spoilers about the Very Fun Yarns Advent kit this year if you are opening it up slowly, but I was really liking how the colors looked when they were touching each other, when they were not separated by some other color, if you know what I mean. So like, you know, this one is, it just kind of fades into the other, whereas like, I think I did that here too. I faded them into each other. But sometimes if you have like a white or a contrast color in between each Advent, if you love that, great. But I wasn't loving it because I just wanted the minis to shine. I didn't want them, and I wanted them to blend together in a way that looked like they were all meant to be together. So that was one thing that I wasn't loving, was the chunks. So I definitely, when I went to this, I knew I wanted to make a pattern that would just blend into each other. So that's what this is. I am affectionately calling this the Sledding Hill Scarf now. So I started out as a blanket, and I had done all the math. I washed and blocked my gauge swatch, and I had figured it all out. My husband helped. He helped check. He's kind of like my math checker, because, you know, I'm an English teacher by trade, and I do algebra really well. But sometimes, you know, it's a lot, because you have to figure out the square inches. And what I was trying to do is figure out how, if I would have enough yarn, how big the blanket would be, because I didn't want to create a blanket that wasn't very big. right? I wanted it to be something that was more than a baby blanket size. Okay, long story short, I finally got the right number. I cast it on, I was knitting it, and I got through, I think I was almost done with the first color again. And I was like, you know what? I think we were sitting in bed. It was before bed, and he was reading, and I was knitting with my light on. And I was like, I don't really like this. I'm not in the mood for these super long rows. I want something shorter. I want it to be. So this pattern came about from everything that I wanted. It is a totally selfish, this is what I want to make right now. I'm going to make it fit my needs. So the Sledding Hill Scarf was born. So I did do this and I cast, so then I switched, went back to the scarf size, did some math, figured out how long I wanted it to be, how many inches each color should be. That's kind of how I mathed out it, right? Like, so there's 25 colors. If each color, I wanted the scarf to be about 6 feet long. And so each color chunk had to be about 2 3/4 to 3 inches to get kind of in that 72, 75 inch length. So I wanted to see how that worked. So anyway, then I cast on with the garter edging, and I was like, it's not working for me. It was great for a blanket, but it's not really working for a scarf. I want something a little more sophisticated. So what I ended up doing is doing a broken rib of sorts for the edging. And these are my first 3 days. So day 1 in this scarf will actually be the ribbing at the beginning of the scarf and at the end. So I used half of it here, and I will use half of it at the end. And then we've got day 2 here with the yellow, and day 3. So it's going to be very color blocked, but I am really liking it. The only thing I don't love right now is that I should have made, can you see this? I should have made 5, so it's a 3-stitch edging, but I think it's curling. It's not quite big enough, you see, even though it's not stockinette, it is a continuation of the ribbing down below, up above, and I should have made it a little bit wider. So I have only done 3 days. Will I go back and switch it? I don't know. I haven't quite decided. I also haven't decided if I want to put this out as a pattern or if it's just going to be something that's solely for me and my pleasure. Sometimes, as I have started to design more things, especially over the last year, I feel like sometimes whenever I have an idea, I have to publish it as a pattern, but I'm learning that sometimes maybe I don't. Maybe it's just for me. So I don't know. Tell me what you think. If you love this pattern, maybe I will publish it, but it's going to be a really nice long scarf, and it's going to just highlight all these beautiful colors. Now, let me see if I don't know if I kept all of the, I think I can remember them. So I should tell you their color names. So this Very Fun Yarns Advent is inspired by the Santa Claus movie from the 1990s. And each colorway is a quote that I pulled from the movie. The name of it is, and I used when I paused the scene where the quote was, I used that as my inspiration to pick colors. So this first one, this pinky, reddy, yellowy orange, is from very early on in the movie. I didn't keep my little thing, but if I can remember it, it's a line about, so it's where Charlie and his dad are, his dad's trying to make him Christmas dinner and he totally burns it and needs a fire extinguisher. And that's where that inspiration is from. The quote is something like, that's why you should always have a fire extinguisher available, or something like that. It's much more witty than I just said. The second day, the yellow, I kept that one. Oh, this one is when the Santa Claus on the movie, they go outside, and this ladder comes out. And in the poem, there rose such a clatter. And so that's the "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" poem. And the little boy, he talks about it, Dad, rose such a clatter. He's talking to him about it because Charlie's dad is reading that to him before he falls asleep. So when they go outside and they see the Santa Claus, this ladder comes out for them to go upstairs. And when he looks at it, it has a name on it. And the quote here is, "Look here, Dad, the Rose Suchek Ladder Company." So it's sort of like a spin on the words. I thought that was cute. So the goldy color is from the sparkly gold bits that I saw in the ladder that came about. And then the third day comes much later in the movie when the elves rescue Charlie. I think he's on the roof, and they're trying to save Santa, and they're dressed in this kind of greeny yellow gold. I find it to be kind of a very retro color. And they say to him, "Don't ever try this without elf supervision." And that's where that greeny yellow comes from. So yeah, so that's it. I will try to remember as I open up all of these to save them. So those of you who don't have a kit and are kind of watching along, you can enjoy the fun quotes as well, because I love that movie and there are so many really good quotations in that movie. So anyway, that is that. I think I wound up the next 2 days actually. Oh, and I did keep them. Okay, so there we go, the Sledding Hill Scarf. And I didn't say this completely, but it does not use the whole 20 gram. You have a tiny little, I would say, I haven't weighed it yet, but I think it's about 3 grams left. So that is perfect. Actually, that would be even perfect if I decide to expand it a little bit on each side. I think there would still be enough room there. Okay, so that's it. I really need to, let's see what time it is. I've been yapping here for like 15 minutes already. So I really should get myself going, and I will take you along with me as much as possible. And then I will come back to you again later today and kind of give you a little more information on my Advent knits and crochets and how they're going. Okay, talk to you guys all in a little bit. See you soon. Bye-bye. Hello everybody, I am back one more time. I hope you're having a great day. It is almost 5 o'clock here, so it's starting to get kind of dark. And actually it is dark, the sun has set, but it's that like twilighty sort of not completely dark time. So the lighting is a little weird. I had meant to come to you a little bit sooner, but when I went to my appointments, I don't know, I just kind of was a little more tuckered out when I came back, and it took longer than I thought it would to go to the various stores I had to stop at. So by the time I unloaded and I had lunch and I had a little downtime, here we are, it's 5 o'clock. Plus I wanted to knit a little bit more on my Advent socks so I could show them to you. So let me show you my Advent projects. I showed you the other one this morning, and I have 2 of them here to show you. And then the Sweet Shop blanket I have not really knit on at all yet. I do really want to, but I have so many projects I want to work on, and I only have 2 hands. So I think I will probably not get started on that until I finish one of my gift knits. And the fingerless mitts, I don't think I have that much left on them. I have been continuing to do like at least 15 minutes on each every day. This morning I did work on the mittens on the treadmill, and I got pretty far, but I don't know, I've just not really been in the mood to do two things at once. So the multitasking has kind of not been fun, so I haven't been doing it. So this is my Freckled Whimsy self-striping 24 Advent sock skein here. Let me see if I can get them out. So I have done the first 3 days on both of them. So like I said, the lighting is a little weird, but you can see it's this beautiful like coral pink and then more like a deep red and kind of a pinky purple on the top. So I actually have done both socks. It does come, I did get a mini skein that came with it that's this like neutrally color. But I love this striping pattern so much that I just decided I'm only going to do the contrast in the heel. So I just did 3 stripes for my cuff, and now I'm going to knit in stockinette for when we switch to the next color for the 4th. So that is that. Put those all back in here. Like I said before, I don't know if I will continue to do both at the same time. It'll kind of depend, you know, whatever I'm feeling like working on. But the one that I have been working on the most by far since yesterday is my cozy, oh, I took the wrong one. Pause, I gotta go get the other one. Okay, I brought the wrong bag upstairs. I only have 2 like small size Christmas or winter themed bags. I'll take that back. I do have a 3rd one, but it has my gift knit in it. That little cute blue one I showed you the other day that has the fingerless mitts in that I'm working on. And I have like 4 or 5 projects going. So this one is actually in my fall slash, you know, it does have trees in it, but it's more of a fall bag. Anyway, so this is the cozy, oh, what is it again? The cozy, oh, a cozy Advent scarf, basically. Cozy country Advent scarf. I couldn't think. I knew there was another word in there with alliteration, and I couldn't remember it. And this pattern is by Lucienne Crochet, and I found my thing. It is a 10-gram mini set by Polka Dot Creek, and it's called the Advent Christmas Advent Bouquet European Christmas Market. So that's, and then I think it looks like in my Advent box where I have all my Advents, it has a big skein too that I'll open at the end. So, but the actual 10-gram mini skeins were just in a bouquet and they weren't individually wrapped. So look what I've got. I will say I do have to weave in some ends because this is kind of crazy. Isn't it beautiful? So when I came to you last, when I last talked about this, I was having issues with this very beginning, like I think they call it like a ribbing or an edging. I was messing it up. And when I ripped it back row by row, the directions, I don't know. I guess I was always taught that if you chain 3 at the beginning of a crochet row, then that counts as your first stitch basically, and you skip the first loop and you go to the next one. And that is what I was doing on this ribbing bit. And it turns out that I think I wasn't supposed to be doing that. And there are some directions to that in the pattern saying that it doesn't count as your first stitch. And I think it means it doesn't count in your ribbing part, because when I got up into this section, if I did that, then I had too many stitches. So I just figured it out. I was really careful about counting everything in the beginning rows. Also, this first bit right here, this section, the setup in this first here is different than the rest. You know, so this is the very last row is the same as this row up here. But so when I was saying that it seemed a lot more complicated, it isn't really that complicated. But when we do something new, it feels complicated, right? I'm not wrong here. when you do something new, you're like, oh my God, that's so hard. And it's not hard because it's hard. It's hard because it's new and it's different. So anyway, I got through that. And then I switched to my main color, my yak sock gray. And then I just kept going. I did notice in my second color, I don't know if you can see this here because the lighting is kind of wonky, but this section has, it's supposed to be 3 double crochet. It's mostly double crochets, but there's some fancy business in there. This, you're supposed to do three rows of 3 sections of each color. And each color has 3 rows in it. Well, I must have really been going to town because of this one, I made 4 rows. And I was like almost out of my yarn at the end. And I was like, that's kind of weird because my first color, I had like a teeny little bit left. And I was like, well, okay, it worked out. And then later I realized that I did 4 rounds, but I'm not going to go back and rip it out. Nobody's going to notice. It's beautiful the way it is, and I could care less. I did see, though, the second bit. I don't think you can see it in the light. So in future Vlogmas days, I will show you this again, hopefully in the daylight, and you'll be able to see it. But the second green here has sparkle in it, so it's a different base. So this bouquet appears to be different bases mixed. There's a sparkle, which is more of like an 80-20 kind of sparkle. Oh no, I take that back. It does look like it's the 75-25. What does this say? It doesn't say anything about sparkle on the actual thing, but for whatever reason, my sparkle one, I actually ran out of yarn. Now each little section, each colored section is supposed to take about 3 grams. So that would give you like 1 gram left over. And for some reason, I was thinking that maybe it was a different weight or a different yardage per grams. You know how like some fingering weight is 437 yards per 100 grams and some is like 460. So I was wondering if perhaps that was the difference. But now I'm not so sure because it does look very much the same twist and everything. It just has sparkle on it. Although, I don't know, it looks maybe more like a 2-ply, where the other one doesn't. It's hard to tell sometimes. Anyway, what I did, because my first and my third colors are very similar, this one's more variegated and this one's more solid. Probably can't even see it too much, but it was just this little last like 6 or 7 stitches. I just used some of my leftovers that I had from my first one. So yes, I am loving this. I think I'm going to finish this color today. So what is this? 1, 2, 3. I'm on my 4th color. I have a feeling this one I'm going to crochet really fast, and I'm going to be done with it much earlier than the rest because it is so freaking fun. And I will say, if you had mini skein scraps left over, this would be perfect. You could do each section, like if you have 3 or 4 gram teeny little scraps left, you could do each section a different color. How beautiful would that be? So it's, like I said, it's set up for 24 10-gram minis, but man, the sky's the limit on this one. So I have this brown variegated, and I have one more section to do, and then the next color, you can definitely see the sparkle on that. The next color I pulled was this like navy blue sparkle. So I am certain I will crochet on that tonight. So that's where I am on those. Like I said, it's about 5 o'clock, and tonight's dinner, I'll try and take a little bit of video to show you, is a Polish soup. I can't remember what country we're in. My son, for geography, when we study a country, he will often, or I will pull a recipe. I'm pretty sure we're in Poland. We'll pull a recipe and we'll make a recipe that is from that country. And the recipe we're making tonight is zupa. It's like GRYZBOW. I'll put it down below. But basically it's like a creamy mushroom soup. And it is something supposedly that is traditional of like in Poland, and they often eat it for their Christmas Eve meal. And so I was trying to kind of pull recipes this next couple weeks in the month of December for geography that were sort of more Christmas related. So he's going to help me cook that tonight. And then I don't really have too much else planned. I'm hoping to edit these videos from yesterday and today and hopefully get them uploaded and ready so that they can go live before I go to my iron infusion. Wednesday is my iron infusion day. My appointment is always at 11 o'clock. And so I have just tomorrow, the 3rd left, and then the 10th is my last one. I'm so excited to not be poked anymore. I need to drink some more water tonight because I have learned over the last month that the infusion goes way better and I feel way better afterwards if I am drinking a lot of water. So I tend to, this is my 32-ounce water bottle, and if I drink at least 10 glasses, so 2.5 of these the day before, the day of, and the day after, I actually drink one whole one just while I'm there for the hour and a half. Then I feel a lot better. I don't get the headache and I'm not quite as tired. So that is the plan. I will be drinking lots of water, storing up like a camel. But that is it. I think that's all I have to tell you. All my yabbering. I am going to head back downstairs in front of the cozy, warm fire for a little bit yet. I have my sweet calico kitty up here who is super gentle. She used to be outside. Her name is S'mores. She's actually the mother, biological mother of 3 of our other cats. 2 of the other cats she raised, and we, so she knows them. We adopted the 3 of them together. But the one she had earlier was taken away from her because she was not even a year old when she had it. And her and her mom at the time were fighting over the babies. And Tabo, the one that we have, was the only one left. The other one died in the disagreeing about who should care for it and where it should go and yada yada. So he was raised by a foster, and although he is not an aggressive cat, because he was bottle fed and he wasn't raised with siblings, he's a little more, I don't know, he's like a toddler who's always ready to throw a tantrum, basically. And I think he's a little bit afraid of S'mores. Not that she's ever been aggressive to him, but she's just sort of like, she's standoffish, perhaps is the word. When she first meets another cat, she's not very trusting. And so she's not aggressive, but she just likes to watch and observe for a very long time before she feels comfortable. Whereas Tabo, my other kitty, is very much the run in head first. Hey, do you want to play with me? Do you want to play with me? And she'll run away, and she doesn't really want to play with him. She just wants her space, and he doesn't want to give anybody space. He wants to be up in everybody's business. And so the 2 of them have been at odds in the past, and to the point that Tabo actually hurt her, scratched her eye, and we had to take her to the vet, and it was a whole hullabaloo. So they've been separated for about 1.5 years just by a gate in our house. So she stays pretty much upstairs, and the boy kittens and Tabo stay downstairs, and then our big cat Cole goes between, but he prefers to be with S'mores because he's very much like her in that he doesn't really want to have a wrestle fest. He just wants to hang out. So they play together sometimes. But anyway, long story short, I often feel like I have to divide my time because S'mores, my kitty up here, is very attached to me. And Tabo, my kitty downstairs, is very attached to me, but they don't get along. So that makes it very challenging. So I will go downstairs for a little while, hang out by Tabo for a little bit more. And then after dinner, I'll probably come up here and hang out with S'mores and chill with her before bed. So that was a very long rambling about cats, but if anybody out there, and I know because a lot of you have been commenting about your cats, which I love hearing about your cats, by the way. If you have multiple cat households, there's always some sort of drama. Anyways, I have been rambling enough, so I will see you again. Hopefully this video will go up on Wednesday, And then I will see you again in some recordings that I do tomorrow and Thursday. So I hope you're all well. Bye-bye.